Go for it.
Aloha snack bar, everyone. It's the one, the only, the real majestic ape, the Senor Silverback, the economic one, joined by none other than the master of the flux capacitor, the denizen of the airwaves, CJ, and we are back for another morning show. You can follow us on roguemoney.net. Also, check us out on Twitter at the Rogue Money, as well as the Rogue Money Facebook. And also, if you get a chance, check out our sponsors. If you're suffering from debt, you're running scared because the creditors have you on the run, you need to check out myfreedomnow.us. Myfreedomnow.us. Crack the bankers and the debt collectors right in the jaw. Fight back and use the same loopholes that the wealthy and the elite use to get themselves out of a sticky situation. With that being said, CJ, what's crack-a-lackin'?
Hey, good morning, V. Good morning. Yeah, so much going on. The media just keeps, these fake narratives that keep coming out all the time. You have to really filter out what's real, what's not. Yeah, but it was an interesting 24 hours, to say the least.
Absolutely, man. And it just keeps getting more and more and more interesting. It seems that the Empire of Chaos is doing its last bit of chaos as the unwinding occurs, my friend.
Yes, and we're starting to witness some of that in terms of the amount of civilians in these airstrikes, V, Mosul, Syria, Iraq, with these civilians being hit. And it's like a last ditch effort as far as them trying to stay. And again, Trump has put out requesting in the next 30 days a specific plan of action from the military, which tells me that he's not happy with some of the things that have occurred.
I mean, absolutely, man, because what's happening is this. I mean, there's a sharp rise in the number of civilians that have been reported killed because of U.S.-led airstrikes, okay? And this is starting to spread, and the people that are on the ground in Iraq, in Syria, they're like, what the heck is the U.S. doing? What is going on? That these guys are just coming in bombing things willy-nilly with no regards for lives or non-combatants. The U.S. is doing the exact opposite of what it accuses the Russians of doing, CJ. Where they're like, hey, look, the Russian rocket, the Russian missile, it fell on a hospital. And none of the things happened. Like when the Russians were able to hit ISIS with pinpoint precision from 1,000 miles away with caliber cruise missiles. And the world was shocked at the accuracy of it. The U.S. could do nothing but saying, well, one of the missiles landed in Iran. I mean, literally, one of the missiles landed in Iran. And of course, we all knew that was BS. Not a single missile landed anywhere in Iran. But that could not help them from saying such stupidity. So then we go in with our laser-guided precision, and all we have is the same thing we had in the first and second Gulf War. Massive civilian collateral damage. Like, what the heck is going on here? Right? It kind of melts away some of the propaganda and marketing material, which is basically what the entire military is built on at these days. That's what keeps most of the military equipment functioning, CJ. It's not high technology, it's high propaganda. So this is what's going on, man. This has to get fixed. Okay? This has to get fixed, and it has to get fixed quickly. It's a joke. I mean, look at U.S. trained, soldiers. Like, look at the U.S. trained Iraqis. They take forever and a day in order to push ISIS back. Okay, and they're not as successful. Look at the Russian trained Syrian Arab army. They crush ISIS within like minutes. Okay, what does that tell you of the fighting efficacy of Russians versus Americans? Not that good, is it, buddy?
Right.
This whole Rambo mentality, you start to understand. Like, honestly, look, CJ, I mean, let's have some truth. Let's have an adult conversation here, right? You talk to most Americans. Most Americans are like, well, if it wasn't for the United States, we're the ones who saved the world in World War II. What the hell are you talking about? Right?
Right.
Because that's the mentality. Oh, we if it wasn't for the United States, we saved the world in World War II. Never happened. Okay? We entered the war at a point in the European theater when the Russians were already kicking the snot out of the Germans, pushing the Germans back, beating them half to death. At which point we entered the game. That's why we only lost 100,000, and they've lost millions. Okay, that's the reality of it. Of all the powers that were involved in World War II, we lost the least amount of lives. There's a reason for that. Okay, so don't tell me this all, it was because of us that we won. No. Every real historian, you study the real history books without this propaganda BS attached to it, will find out it was actually Russia. Unreal, man. So,
yeah,
anyway.
unreal. The majority of Americans, and again, definitely support our troops, those people that volunteer, however, really question the leadership, the globalists that continue to utilize our military as a vehicle to gain control of either resources, manipulation, all these things that have occurred for so long. We all know that anytime that, for a perfect example, V, is when the NFL promotes anything regarding the military, the flyovers, the flags, the military recognized. Most Americans don't understand that the U.S. military actually pays the NFL to do that. That's not the NFL just being good citizens saying, hey, we're going to honor the troops. No, that's the NFL taking money directly from the military to do that. And what's it done for? Just to hype up the whole military state, the whole propaganda of our military. And again, I'm not talking bad about our troops. I 100% support our troops. V does as well, but more so along the lines around these globalists that are just waging these continuous war states. V. Exactly.
It's to keep the propaganda and the marketing is very important, because it's what keeps us, moving forward to go ahead and get involved in foreign affairs, which we have no business in to begin with. And it what keeps the recruiting going in the in the army and in the military. It's what keeps the recruiting going, because if the marketing is out that we're the most vaunted military force in the world, if we keep marketing that BS, you're gonna have more willing guys that are willing to sign up. Like, hey, we're gonna go in there, we're gonna kick some ass. We cannot fight a technological peer. Just yesterday, CJ, Russians just tested out their Zircon missile, and I tweeted it out.
Right. Yes.
This is 2 generations ahead of anything we have. Okay? And I don't want to hear about we have alien technology. We have alien... Shut up. 2 generations ahead. Okay? This is a missile that is a carrier killer. It travels at over 5,000 miles per hour. In other words, Mach 7. 5,000 miles per hour before impacting a ship. In other words, it's unstoppable. In other words, we have no defenses for it. Let me show you what an anti-missile system that we utilize. It's actually developed by the Brits. I think it's called Black Dragon. Okay, this is an anti-missile system. Okay, the British system, which we also utilize, fires a missile at 2,000 miles an hour with a 15-mile range. The Russians have a 5,000 mile an hour missile with a 500-mile range.
Wow.
No comparison. But, it's, keep pumping out, Call of Duty video games and do flyovers on the NFL, and we think we're the greatest power on God's green earth. It's a joke, dude. It's a joke.
Yeah, another perfect example of that, V, is what occurred at the Security Council, where Russia and China basically called out the UN Security Council's bluff in regards to, again, these chemical weapons.
Oh God, here we go.
Are they wanting to create a safe haven, in terms of the recent escalation of events in Iraq? Are they trying to create a safe space, a safe zone for these ISIS fighters to retreat to? And so basically what happened was the security, Russia and China gets up there, the UN Security Council saying, hey, listen, we need to step up our efforts to, not only investigate the chemical weapons in Syria, but we also need to get back into Iraq and check out what's going there. And Russia and China basically have stepped up and said, no, wait a minute, we need to investigate these allegations, these accusations of these things, because for too long the UN and the Security Council has just been nothing but a puppet for the globalists.
Oh, absolutely, man. And this is what you're seeing. The narco trafficking, death dealing empire of chaos is getting taken apart, and they're just itching for some sort of a fight, even though the fight will lead to the absolute eradication of life on Earth. The Russians are being very, very patient in dealing with these children. And that's what these politicians are, CJ. Children. A bunch of man-childs whining and crying about the fact that they didn't get their way. Okay, again, wanting to put boots on the ground in Syria, wanting to put somebody else's kids in harm's way. Why don't these a-holes, these chicken hawks in D.C. and in the United Nations put on boots themselves and go to Raqqa, go to Aleppo, go to Syria, go to Mosul? Why don't they go there? Unbelievable. Man. It's like the other day also, Sergei Lavrov. He called out NATO's bullshit. They called out the BS. He says, yeah, he called them out on NATO's role, CJ, in drug trafficking. Okay?
Wow.
Yeah, huge. And this is what he said. He says, during their operation in Afghanistan, the terrorist threat has not been rooted out, while the drug threat has increased many times over. The drug industry prospered. There's factual evidence that some of the NATO contingents in Afghanistan turned a blind eye to the illegal drug trafficking, even if they were not directly involved in these criminal schemes. And people are saying that's Lavrov being very, very nice when he says that. I mean, think about it. The Russians know this. They know where the heroin is flowing from. That's coming out of Afghanistan. They know it. Unreal, man.
Absolutely, they know it. They know it, and we're getting conflicting reports in regards to General Mad Dog Mattis in terms of his view of basically what's happening right now in Yemen, and it's a little bit different perspective of what Trump's view is, and so hopefully that comes to some resolution here real quick as far as our continued military state in these operations. And I know I repeated this in yesterday's show, but I think that's just an important signal, at least to me, in terms of the events and the U.S. actions in Yemen.
Right. Absolutely, man. And I mean, also, like, we've talked about quite some time, CJ, about how they want to balkanize Syria, how they want to start partitioning it off, right? We talked about that so many times, and what's happened? Well, it just came out just right now, hot off the press, CJ. U.S. forces block Syrian army advance in preparation for Syria partition. You and I talked about the photos that were taken at some sort of a factory out in northern Syria that U.S. Operators were operating out of. Okay, and special ops guys were operating out of this facility. I think it was a French-owned factory at one point.
Correct.
And now it's saying that the Kurdish-led Syrian Democratic Forces announced on Sunday that it captured the Tabqa air base, 45 kilometers west of Raqqa, the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant, or ISIL, group's de facto capital in Syria. Earlier this week, U.S. forces airlifted SDF fighters behind ISIL lines to allow them to launch the Tabqa assault, and on Friday, the alliance reached one of the dam's entrances. SDF forces were within 10 kilometers of Raqqa from the north and aimed to effectively surround the city before launching an assault. Besides recapturing the dam, the SDF said the U.S.-backed operation also aimed to block any advance by Syrian government forces from the west. The landing forces airdropped into Syria, seized 4 small villages in the area west of Tabqa, and cut the main highway links that into the provinces of Raqqa, Deir al-Zur, Aleppo, and Sirocco. The only way out of Raqqa now is over the Euphrates River, and that borders the city on the south. So they're surrounding Raqqa, and they're stopping the basically the Syrian Arab army from coming in and finishing off ISIS. So in other words, Syria's chance of getting back their own city is right now slim to none. Why? So these assholes, CJ, could say, well, we need to stay here now and make sure that we got to ensure the peace. These are the agents of chaos that are being played like fiddles. And these soldiers who are just following orders are going along with this. This is not this. I don't like this, CJ. I don't
Not at
like
all.
U.S. troops in Syria. I don't like it.
Well, it's not what we signed up for, V. In
No,
terms of, it's not what we signed up for in terms of this new administration coming in.
no. It's ridiculous, bro. It's ridiculous, man. I guess it's that time to audit the Fed, is it not?
Yeah, very exciting. Finally we see some more traction gain in regards to, audit the Fed. So basically what's happened right now, the committee for oversight has actually passed a bill that would truly do that, would allow a third party to go in and a complete audit of the Fed. So we're going to see this come to a vote in the Congress here real soon. And we will be watching, V. We will be watching to see what Republicans and Democrats that will not support this bill. Because this is important. This is important for America to finally to take back the Fed, to take back the Treasury from the years that we call it all the time here regarding all the manipulation that occurs in the markets, and get back to some sound fiscal policy in regards to our monetary fee.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Let's see what happens. If not, it's still kabuki theater if nothing happens, man. Which brings us to the whole climate change thing, man. What's going on there? Trump just signed a whole bunch of things repealing Obama's climate change bullshit, and it says, "Hey, shove it, guy. Here you go. Stick it where the sun don't shine."
Absolutely. When we keep, again, the good, the bad, the concerns, we're going to give you the entire, 360 view of the administration. We're going to be critical at times when we need to. At the same time, we're going to applaud the efforts that we see. And this is one of those. We all know that the whole climate change narrative is strictly driven off this false narrative. And now Trump is coming in and saying, what, all these policies that Trump has enforced on the coal, the energy sector in particular, putting all these mandates in, raising electric prices for your average middle class family significantly. He's rolling all these back, V. He's saying, what, we're not going to follow through. We're going to be focused more on a truly energy independent United States, and also scaling back a lot of the things from the EPA. So this is a great move, V.
It is a massive move because clean coal and coal-fired power plants that are utilizing clean coal technology, it's the cheapest way forward. Okay, and it's actually very, very clean with next to nothing in terms of, the filtration devices they have are those smokestacks. The only thing coming out of a clean coal power plant out of those smokestacks is it's water vapor. Okay, it is the cheapest way for us to not only for energy, the utilization for manufacturing, but for electricity bills. I've seen my electricity bills quadruple because of the a-hole that went to the White House, 8 years ago, and started killing coal with no solution, with no replacement, no nothing, just willy-nilly because it fits his ridiculous agenda. The reason why I bring this up is this, CJ. Killing coal is a way to deindustrialize a nation.
Boom.
That is why on every single Kyoto Climate Accords and all the climate accords they have, like in Davos, China never signs up. India never signs up. Russia never signs up to kill their coal-fired power plants. Okay? People are like, well, that's why China's in smog. Well, yeah, they need some. They're putting in newer technology to make it, more cleaner burning, this, that, and the other. Forget about the smog issue. The cheapest way to ramp up an economy with energy is coal. You kill the coal, you're killing the economy. You're killing industry. It powers industry. So you want to deindustrialize a country? Go ahead, put in regulations, environmental restrictions that destroy coal, and you'll see a rapid deindustrialization occur within your country. And a squeeze put on your citizens because they can no longer afford their electric bill, CJ.
You called it. Absolutely, V. And in terms of the globalists and their vision for this whole, climate change, we all know that it was driven off of creating these paper certificates, these carbon emission certificates that the globalists, that the elite were going to make tons of money off of, the charging these energy companies, and to think that the energy companies would just be able to dish out this dollars, pay for these certificates, these carbon energy credits, and then not pass that fee on to the consumers. And that's exactly what we've been witnessed. That whole industry has been in panic mode in regards to cheap energy, in terms of yes, passing that fee on. And my bills have went up too. We're seeing every day. Now, does that mean that we don't look for newer technologies as far as, solar panels and wind, all these other technologies? No, absolutely. We should do that. And that falls back to us gaining that energy independence that's so important for us, V.
It is everything, man. It is everything. It's we can't move forward monetarily or economically without having control over the Federal Reserve, and we cannot move forward energetically and in industry wise without having control of coal. Vital, absolutely vital. Which brings us to the next thing, man, which is the Brits have finally says na 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 na, hey hey hey,
Goodbye. Yes. So Theresa May wrote the article to do the Article 50 and triggering the Brexit. So Theresa May, the Prime Minister, has basically submitted the letter to the governing body of the EU stating this is our intentions. Her goal is obviously to unify the Brits, coming together to remove themselves from this. So I didn't catch the press conference, yesterday to go through and give the timeline, but I believe estimates are stating somewhere between the time that she submits this letter of their intentions, for the Brexit, that within 2 years that should be completed. Now, will the European Commission President Jean-Claude Juncker and Angela Merkel, will they try to make attempts to probably block this? More than likely, they probably will. So things are going to get very interesting real quickly in the EUV.
Absolutely. And what's happening there is, they are the fools that are in the UK are still screaming about it. This is not a democratic process, and the Antifa in England is going nuts. They just can't deal with the fact that, yes, it is a democratic process, and the people have spoken. They're getting the heck out of the EU. And what's going to also happen is this: I expect a massive rally in the London Stock Exchange. I expect a massive rally and major economic boom that will occur in the UK, especially with the sterling. I think the pound is going to go through the roof. I think it's watch what happens. Everybody's saying collapse. UK heading for disaster. This is going to be the best damn thing they've done, bro.
Absolutely, and it's going to create another domino effect that we will continue to see with the European Union nations. V.
Yeah, and just in time too. I mean, British industries are on the rise, man. I mean, I remember just a few years ago, the British. I'm like, I'm a gearhead. So British, car companies were dead. There was nothing. There's no life. I mean, look at them. They're all humming now. All of them. Jaguars humming. They're doing very well. Land Rover's doing great. Who else? Cooper's doing good. Rolls, Bentley, McLaren is on a tear. Some of these are foreign owned, but the point is they're still manufacturing in the UK, and they're all on a tear. And British manufacturing is going through the roof. They're doing very well. Very well. I'm very impressed, man.
Yeah, anyway, absolutely.
There's some things that I don't like and you don't like as well. What's going on in the White House? And I think there's a little bit of apprentice thing going on in here. What's going on with that, bro?
Well, just in terms of the administration, and there were some warning signs that were out there in terms of Ivanka and Jared moving to Washington, D.C., and them becoming power players, within the administration. And this is something, in terms of the years of management and leadership, something that I really frown upon in terms of family. And, to me, that's the family, something sacred, right? Something that you keep aside. And the amount of speculation, the amount of things that could potentially happen, bringing Ivanka and Jared in that inner circle politically is, I think, very reckless. I think it's very dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like it in part because it can become a huge distraction. And right now, Trump doesn't need that. He doesn't need the distractions that Ivanka messes up, Jared messes up, and this all comes back, to him, not only in terms of what potentially could happen, but then also the ties that, hey, this is family. Why would Trump do this? Why would he make these mistakes doing this? I just think it's an ill-advised move. I think there's a lot more people qualified in America to take on some of these leadership roles, and potentially also just to keep them safe as well. Keep his family safe. I just don't recommend this type of movie.
Yep, absolutely. My opinion is this. I think it sends the wrong message. I think it sends the wrong message because, again, you want to avoid the whole nepotism kind of thing, number one. Number two, she wants to come on board and do the whole women's issue bit. Yeah, I get it. Go ahead. Have fun. Do your women's issue thing, and that's cool. But you two kids, and you two are kids, okay? You guys are great. You guys are great in real estate and running business, this, that, and the other. But you're running businesses that have already been established for you. Okay?
Governing is completely different. Absolutely.
Yeah. Jared's comment: the government should be run like a great American company. That's where you're wrong, buddy. Government should never be run like a great company. Government should be run just as it was written in the Constitution. That's the mandate that should be followed. That's where, the whole thing is, he's talking about he's going to have some sort of efficiency thing. That's fine. You want to create a little office where you can go find out inefficiencies in government. That's fine. Okay, go ahead. Okay. Now, my thing is this. As soon as you start meddling your nose into foreign affairs, I have a problem with that, CJ. Okay? I have a problem with that, where guys like him should not comment and say stupid crap like, Iran is the biggest supporter of terrorism in the world, when that is not true. That is an axiom that is not true. We all know Saudi Arabia is the biggest promoter of terrorism. And if you follow the money, we're the largest creator of terrorism on the planet. It's us! Surprise! I don't need people who have zero understanding on how the friggin' world really works and the games being played. You cannot be playing junior varsity Pee-wee League football and try to get into the league with the big boys. Not happening. Not a good move. I don't like it. You want to stick with women's issues? Great. You want to play, the shadow first lady until the first lady, moves back down to DC? That's fine. You want to have your governmental efficiency office to cut waste and spending that's unnecessary? That's fine. That's cool. But when you're meeting with foreign leaders, when you're in the same office, the same room as foreign leaders, when policies are being created, I have a problem with that, because my question to you is, who the hell are you? Number one.
Right.
Number two, who gave you the right to be there? Number three, you're not in the cabinet. You didn't go through a Senate hearing. You didn't go through a background check. You don't have any security clearances, but you're meeting with foreign dignitaries?
Boom, exactly.
Like, who are you? Well, who is Kushner, bro? Who is this guy? Right? I mean,
right.
Take a look. I mean, this guy's dad went to jail for some sort of fraud, right?
Right, absolutely.
He went to a federal prison camp for 14 months. I mean, I mean, look. Here's the thing. You know, these guys want to play government. They want to, get their, build their network. I get it. Okay, yeah, everybody wants to do that. You're all involved in foreign policy. I don't like it. I don't like it. We are too critical of a stage in this country, CJ, for any sort of screw-ups, any sort of futzing around.
Yeah, and there's very, people that have the experience, people that, wrong or right, in governing and managing, I think it's very important to have a diverse team, diverse opinions, regardless if they're being critical of things. One of the persons I think that would have been a great person to come in to really remove government waste, to really clean things up, an insider that for the several years has been saying this is Ron Paul.
Hell yeah.
Ron Paul could have came in easily and said, this is what's wrong with this organization. This is what's wrong with this organization, and knocked it out. Right. What about Tulsi Gabbard? As far as, a female to lead, take on some leadership positions, some leadership role with the amazing things that she's doing in Congress right now.
Right.
And in terms of the whole trust issue, because, I get that, wanting people, close to you that you trust, but emphatically, this is how it works. Okay. So specifically in your inner circle, whether you're launching a new product and, something that's, something in terms of government, hey, this is completely confidential. Here's what you do is you tell your inner circle, listen, I'm going to tell, something to you one time. This is something that's not getting outside of this inner circle. If it gets leaked out, then you've lost that trust and you will be never trusted again with any information. So regardless if that's family, friends, foes, that's how you specifically lay that out. You tell that person one specific thing that no one else knows, and if it gets leaked or whatever, then you cut that person out of your circle and they're done. They don't get any other confidential information. What do you do? How do you protect that when it's a family member? What do you do if a family member, if that happens? And again, I look at it more not only just in terms of the administration, but more the family aspect, the family aspect that, outside of the administration, outside of the White House, the risk is too great. The amount of criticism is too great. If something were to happen to them and we don't want that, it's too great. So why run that risk, V? Don't do it. That's the answer. Just don't do it.
Exactly correct. Now I'm sorry. At the end of the day, is this? There's a great line of women out there that are the new blood in politics that are way better than Ivanka, and when it comes to handling foreign dignitaries. You made a valid point. Tulsi Gabbard. Once you have Tulsi in there, well, she's an asset. Ron Paul would go in and clean up the shop. Once you have that guy in there, you want somebody to have a head of an efficiency office? There you go. Let's see what happens, man. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, and again, I don't want to come across as too negative. I just want to point this out as far as, just a legitimate concern in V, and that's something that we talk about is in terms of not only applauding, like we did today in terms of the environmental protection thing, but also we need to be critical of it. We just can't be, I continuously be amazed at some other news outlets that just want to basically just applaud everything and try to spin everything as a positive. And we have to be, just like we did with other administrations, we have to look at the good, the bad, the ugly, and to do our part in making sure that we're sharing that information on our insights, V.
Right, absolutely, man. Dude, at the end of the day, CJ, we only have a limited time. We have 8 years. And in those 8 years, we should be killing spiders, not clearing cobwebs. Killing spiders. Because if we don't, spiders will be back.
Roger that.
And that's the end of that, bro. Closing comments, sir.
Yeah, make sure it's hump day today. I'm excited. We'll have Bix Weir coming on at 2 o'clock.
1 p.m.
1 p.m. I'm sorry. 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just a really quick programming update. Harley Schlanger is not available on Thursday. So we're going to bring you a very special broadcast. We're actually going to bring W in the Intelligence Insider. And we've been steering clear a little bit of all what's happening with Comey and all this. And so hopefully he's going to break that down for us in detail. So I'm excited to have him joining us tomorrow afternoon, V.
Awesome. Lee, I'm looking forward to it as well. All right, folks, thank you all for listening in. And again, check us out on roguemoney.net. Follow us on Twitter at the Rogue Money. Check out the Rogue Money Facebook page. And here's the deal, guys. If you go to the website, I mean, we're rolling out newer and newer things on the website. Check out our social feed on the website. There's some really cool stuff over there. You can see all the videos, social interaction, things of that sort. In terms of the podcast and all that stuff, let me just show you guys real quick. If you just go right to, again, the site, you hit podcast, you can find us on iTunes, on Stitcher, on Overcast, on Google Play. We're everywhere, baby. We are everywhere. We're on Apple News. We're probably one of the first alt media guys there. So we're on Apple News. We're soon going to be on Google News. All these wonderful things are coming down the pike, so keep it locked over here. With that being said, guys, we are over and we're out. Take it away, CJ.